Alright, in this demo I'm going to show you how to take your torsos that have 2 darts in them and reduce it to 1 dart. Okay, so we're working with our closed-ended darts. Remember, there's 2 types of darts. We have open-ended darts, like this one at side seam, that's open on one end and it has a tip on the other. And then we have our closed-ended darts that right here, these parallel darts that run through the waist or the torso of the pattern. Okay, and these are closed at each end. They have dart tips at each end, and then where the opening would be, they're closed. Okay, so again, just like in open-ended darts, you need to be able to move this somewhere. You can't just get rid of it unless you want to convert it to ease or fullness. All right, so these you can't necessarily move just like one of these open-ended darts. All right, so but there is a way to get rid of them if you need to. Okay, so we're going to start with the front here, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the back. Okay, so what we're going to do is get rid of one of these 2 darts. There's a couple different ways to do this. We could combine them into 1 dart. If you think about it, this dart opening, or sorry, the fullest part of these darts, they're a 1/2 inch. So I could just combine it and create a dart that has a 1 inch, that's 1 inch at its fullest part. All right, but I don't want to do that. I don't have a massive dart in the middle of my pattern. I actually want to get rid of one. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is reduce the side seam a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we know that the dart opening, or the fullest part of the dart, the widest part of the dart, is a 1/2 inch. Okay, and we're going to get rid of this one right here. It doesn't really matter. I could get rid of either of them. You do it the same way and take it from the same place. But I want to keep this one because I think it's going to give me more fit, considering it's basically on where the princess line would be. So this is the one that I'll get rid of. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of it here at side seam. All right, so this is a 1/2 inch at its widest point. So at side seam, I'm actually going to measure in. All right, so here's my side seam. Here's the waist. The fullest point is at the waist. I'm going to measure in a 1/2 inch from side seam at the waist and make a mark. Okay, there we go. So this is a 1/2 inch in. All right, now I'm going to basically connect this to intersection of armhole and side seam, and then I'm going to blend it down to that 2 inch mark I have down there. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is fold out my dart. I'll just fold under at the dart tip. And then this is a horizontal dart, so we want the seam allowance going down. So we're creasing the dart leg closest to the bottom. And we'll just close that right up. And tape that shut for now. Okay, we can open that back up. And now I'm going to connect the intersection of armhole and side seam to that 1/2 inch mark that I just made. That's a 1/2 inch in from the side seam at the waist. Let's do that with a straight line. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our new dart opening. So here's my new side seam. You can see the black line. I'm going to trace right over that new side seam, right where my dart is folded under. And now I can open this up. Flatten that out. There's my new dart opening. Let's go ahead and true that. Alright, and let's find a nice curve. Again, we kind of want to blend back into where this 2 inch mark is. So I think before we had 10 down here. I think I'm going to go with, let's see, I'm putting 6 at that 2 inch mark. Again, remember, these are all just lines on a piece of paper until we've actually made up our toile or muslin and fitted it to, the dress form, the client, whatever you're fitting to. Okay, so you can always make alterations in that muslin to figure out the true fit and curvature. So I put 6 there. And then this is pretty straight right down to there. Alright, so you can see, here's my new side seam, that black line versus the original green line. Okay, so I've basically reduced, or I've taken out all of that. Okay, this dart is now gone. Okay, so I'm just left with this, this closed into the dart, and then my other side bust dart. Alright, so let's do the back now. Now, on the back, we have much larger darts, okay? You can see these are about 1 inch each at their widest point, or they are 1 inch each at the widest point, okay? Whereas the front darts were only 1/2 inch, okay? On the front dart, I took 1/2 inch out of my side seam. All right, remember that these patterns are balanced, okay, before I start doing these alterations. They're balanced, meaning that when we sew them together, the side seams, everything hangs in the right place and lines up with the correct place on the human body, okay, or on the body. So I don't want to, on the side seam here, I don't want to take out 1 inch, okay. First of all, that would take the balance out. Okay, because I only took 1/2 inch off my front side seam, I only want to take 1/2 inch off my back side seam. If I take a whole inch, that's kind of going to throw this pattern off. All right. The other thing, 1 inch is a lot to take out. Not that you couldn't do it, but it seems like a lot to me, and I'd be afraid that it might really alter the fit a lot. It may not. So we only want to take 1/2 inch out of side seam. Where are we going to take out the other 1/2 inch of this inch? Center back. Okay, we have a seam at center back, so we can take the other 1/2 inch out there and not worry about throwing the balance off. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to get rid of this dart right here. Again, this dart looks like it probably lines up on where the princess seam would be, so I want to leave that one there because I think it will give me a better fit. So I'm going to start by measuring in on the waistline because that's where the fullest part of this dart is. I'm going to measure in on the waistline at side seam 1/2 inch and make a mark like so. All right, so that's 1/2 inch in, and then same thing at center back. I'll measure in 1/2 inch and make a mark right on the waistline. Okay, so here at side seam, I can easily just connect the intersection of armhole and side seam to that 1/2 inch mark at the waist I just made. Okay, and then I want to blend it down. I want to use the same curve as I had in the front. I believe I put 6 at that 2 inch mark. Again, whether this curve is correct or not, we won't know until we make up a sample piece and fit it to our client, and then we'll know. Okay, and if there's any alterations that need to be done, we'll do it in that sample piece, and then we'll transfer them back to the pattern. Okay, so there's the 1/2 inch I've just taken off. All right, so now we're going to do the other 1/2 inch at center back. And usually backs have a little bit of contour. Usually your back is not a straight line. Usually it comes out at the top, and then it usually curves in, and then as you get lower towards the rear, it comes back up. Okay? So this actually works no problem. We're going to connect the intersection of our neckline and center back to that 1/2 inch mark. And then we'll connect right to where center back and the hem of this draft connect. And there we go. We've now taken another 1/2 inch out here. And then that eliminates one of our parallel darts. Okay, so now we just have this dart. So there we go. We've now taken out one dart from our back by reducing a 1/2 inch at side seam and a 1/2 inch at center back. All right? All right, and remember, these are closed-ended darts, so we can easily shift them around to wherever we want. We know the measurements perfectly. I could take these measurements and I could mark this dart out, somewhere here, wherever you want. It will probably change your fit a little bit depending on where you move it to along the waistline, but you can do it, okay, depending on your design or how you want the fit to be. So there we are. We've taken out a dart from our front and from our back by removing it from side seam in the front and from side seam and center back in the back. All right, everyone. We'll see you in the next video.